welcome back to Adventures in Video Game and Game Dev. Adventures in Game Dev. Look at that. It's I want to do what the other people do to try to go off topic with some of the gameplay that are out there. That I like seeing. I mean, there's a lot of good tutorial guys out there. I keep up. I don't like watch tutorials. I try not to watch the tutorials, but I try to keep up with what everybody does with like any YouTuber, because I'm not trying to do tutorials, but I'm trying to keep up with the mix and trying to get whatever views and like credibility, build the credibility up because I'm not I'm not BS. I'm he's right. The We're gonna go with the title of this one is the blame game and the game blame and the blame game and all the other nonsense because it's not the game engine. He's right. It's it's all how you build the game. It's the people behind the game. And I'm not trying to say anything bad about the people behind the game because I don't talk about people. But like, if you decide to use a game engine, if you're not making your own engine and you decide to use a game engine, it's already made. I mean, there's extensive documentation and there's everything on it. It tells you in what it does, and it does it. I mean, you can add functionality. It's a fully purpose video, like Unity, Unreal. Which one's better? It's really preference. Like I don't, I like both of them. Like which one looks better or not? You can get the same looks out of both of them. I mean, it's trivial to look difference, and it's all about, like you said, it's about it's really about building games and like building a functional product that people will enjoy, or because like that's the thing. I go back to playing games, so like I really did first memory, first video game, first thing I did that I remember in life besides play with an etch and sketch was play Pong, and my parents had a Pong. We played that while they sat there and played cards. We'd be in our room. I'm probably like 2 years old. Yes, I remember. And I talked to my uncle. He's like, "You remember?" Yeah, man. I had to tell him, I had to tell him there was a pool, we had a balcony, where the living room, how the living room was set up, and the sign to the neighborhood, where it was at. He's like, you know, I remember all of that. I remember some of the best times. It was like some of the best times of our lives was in the like late 70s to the late 70s to the early 80s was some of the best times. All family was around. Then there was a bunch of snow. I love snow, so I'm in St. Louis, Missouri. This winters haven't been the same since like 90, since like 2000, since like 2010 or so. The winters haven't been the same, and that's how I love snow. And it ain't nothing like snow to like have everything, make it feel right for the seasons and everything here. But my first memories is Pong. I'll go back to playing Pong, and we didn't have like going to the arcades. I remember going to the arcades. My parents took us to the arcades. Like there was a big one, and then Chuck E. Cheese's. You know, back then the arcade, Chuck E. Cheese back then in the early '80s. You talk about how many arcade then really going up to arcades really ended. I think in the '90s sometime when you got the 64, the price of the 64 dropped and PlayStation came out. So that was pretty much the end of the arcades. But I remember, going in, there was the mall, and like there was what they call a game called Pit Fighter. Pit Fighter, Narc, both those are arcade games. Pinbot was like the pinball game I like to play. Like what's the other ones? Arcade. They had Narc was in arcade, but I said it was pretty good. Altered Beats in arcade was nothing, was way better than that's not that was way different than the Sega Genesis version of it. So like you still wanted to play the arcade version. And then you had the Avengers video game arcade one with Hawkeye. I think Hawkeye, Captain America, Iron Man. I can't remember who else was on there. Silver Sable, I think, was one of the characters that you could play as. One of the four. You had four stations. You could choose one of the four player characters. And four player. So I mean, back then there was so I and then before that it was Atari, but the Ataris were Atari games were in the arcade, like Pac Man. He had like a little like table with Pac Man, playing. You sit down there with us a couple and play Pac Man and all that stuff. Like this is going back way back in the early '80s, but Star Wars. There was some Star Wars games I played in arcade that I've never seen out or even talked about even before. I'm like, wow, man. So it's video games have been like part of my life for like a long time. And then when my dad came home in like '86 or something like that, or '87, I was in third grade. Came home with the well, I just woke up one morning and I had to go to school and they had a Nintendo and they were playing Zelda or something. I'm like, what? I gotta go to school, man. Really? I gotta think about this all day. Like I can't wait to come home. Yeah, I'm looking to be stupid. So video games and then I really didn't have like a social life until I was like 18 or 19. So I played games at home all the time. Like that's pretty much all I did. So I mean, if I didn't bug the neighbors or I was out playing basketball, because that's all I did, I bugged the neighbors to play basketball. Or I go to school, right after school. So like there wasn't too much besides video games was a pretty big part of my life until I got super bored with it. I had like a Super Nintendo and I just stopped playing video games because it wasn't the same. They weren't coming out with games anymore for it. They came out with the 64 and they dipped on the Super Nintendo. 64 was like a $400, $300 system, something like that back then. PlayStation was 400 something. Like first PlayStation couldn't afford it. But not until the 64 came down in prices did we have a 64. Like that was like I was 18 or something like that. So like it was pretty much past due for me. Like, but they had a lot of the good games came out then. A lot of good games came out when I was 18 for the 64 system. Like 18, 19, because they had Rogue Squadron. The next Zelda that came out, it was a corner at a time. So like video games always been a big part. Like whether so knowing what you know, just knowing all that history and knowing what to play and what people want. What makes a good video game to me. It's kind of I'm a heavy critic, so I'm a heavy critic of myself. So I'm not going to definitely put up something or try to definitely not going to blame the game engine. I love the game engine. Well, this guy here, like I said, I gotta I gotta apologize to this guy and it's a tax. It's not really anything but I just got a lot going on with this. And I got animations for it. but I had to coordinate to figure out how to coordinate these animations for this guy. I got the big guy, like I got set up a collision system, and so I can know when to attack. And like this is this is system sensor system knows so it knows when to attack. Same thing with here, but it's already got attack animations and everything. It's already part of it. Not like I said, I've got the collision set up, but it's all it's got an IK. It's got an IK hooked up. I got a weapon system started, and it already has, you know, bam. It's sitting, but like I gotta fix the emitter on it. That's where I stopped off at because like I said it wasn't the and then also I got this guy has all new animations because like the walking steady, it ain't steady enough when it shoots. Want to run and shoot and see kind of you got three different. And I got to work on the targeting system. I don't have it down like I don't have it set up like I have the other games targeting system. Like I said, this is I was working focusing more on really. I was trying lighting. I was pro volumes and it just came out, so I was trying pro volumes out and then making with pro volumes, having make the volumes, see if I can get you know a better how I can get the lighting the way I want it, and also get the frame, the the functionality and like the have the frame rate that I want with the lighting that I need that I wanted. And those are some things, some artifacts that I was having, but that was when Pro Volumes was brand new. It was still experimental. So like I said, that's a lot of things when you come in and you're making a video game and you're using it, you gotta learn the updates and then you gotta implement the updates and then you gotta try them out and try to see for yourself how to get the lighting the way or the things the way you want it to work. And then you gotta do it. The tools there, everything's there. And even with this, like I got this mega boss. I'm gonna pull it off because like that's how you gotta do it. There was this thing called there was this game called maybe it was not Bioshock. It was a fighting game. It was a Bio Warriors or Bio something, but the last boss after you beat everybody, this big. I mean, it's ridiculous how big this boss is because like it zooms out. It's the only it's the only boss that big in the game. But it's like yeah, like it's like you get to the end of the Matrix video game that they had Path of Neo. They're like, oh hey, when you thought we're just gonna make it just and they pulled this big huge boss like they made all the Smiths join up and be something like this huge mega boss. So like I'm like let's go, that's what you like me, that's what you're gonna do. Like you're gonna I got everything implemented that I need. I need to put sound in this, but like that's all it's all of me. But it's the fact that like I said, I don't wanna I got two enemy characters in here and there's a couple more enemy characters I want to put in here because it's to where it goes to like help tell the story and like there's a real or at least have that's the base model like that's one class of that model of that particular entity and the things with the pink computers at the top of it. There's really like pink processing units, so like for AI and like by having it set up to where it's I said just like it's just a better idea without like I'm gonna put this out there and then the code is all jacked up and this is running pretty good with jacked up code. It's got a well right now it's running 35 and I don't know why it's going down 30 right now. It shouldn't be it should be in 60 frames per second. But like I said, I'm pretty sure that like if it, my computer's been compromised because I stayed at a hotel with it. And I left it there a couple times, and somebody else has the keys to my car. Like my private life has not been too private, so like if somebody some razzle dazzle and which is most likely could possibly happen because of the fact that like people really think I'm stupid as hell, and I am. And like I am gullible because like I like everybody. And I really don't ever think there's like a anybody has an issue or anybody's like evil or anything like that. But there are really some evil people out there, and I really try not to be one of them. I'm really truthfully trying to be one of them. So like knowing that, I mean, then you gotta assume that like I mean you gotta assume there's I gotta only go back to the title screen, but like I said, I got to fix the AC loading like just all thrown into one script. It's all thrown into one script. I need to actually make it its own object, its own thing, its own entity run by itself. But it was hooking it all up and testing it out and making sure the code worked before I went and started. Because that's how I used to do it. Because I didn't know, like, I wasn't programming, like, building my methods in order to solid and they're working in the best way. You got to do things a million different ways before you know that it's the right way. But you got to test stuff out to know if it's like that's the solid way or the best way you're going to do it before you actually implement it. So, like, I tried a million different things out that, I connected code, spaghetti stuff. But, like, no, sticking to the, some of the rules that people go by, don't go like 3D, now a whole bunch of if statements. If you do any type of if statements in like more than like three, you gotta make it a switch statement. Separate all things into their own classes and make things run, if it's a move script, make the movement script separate from the fine from the, any other script, anything like that. That's the things I do to make sure like try to make sure that like I'm actually making the game right. And then after once I got all the script, I got the coding, like 'cause I taught myself. I went to school for like game design, but I didn't go to school for coding. I went for I went for game design art. It was you got two options: game art slash design or video game coding slash design. And so you got game design with both of them, but you got the coding side with one, and you got the art side with the other. But you got game design on both of them. Like I took three game design courses that over theory and everything else, core processes and all the other stuff. But like it's the thing that except versus Unity or Unreal, there's no collision setup. I don't have no collision setup on this. Like it's not the like I said, I pulled this all in just to get a look. I was trying to populate this area, then just for it put out a demo. But I didn't get the well, so you got a flash. There should be I just updated to the next to another version of the game, and so like it's not. There's still probably there's some things I gotta. There's still some things I gotta go to the package manager. And that's one thing with Unity. You have to go to the package manager and make sure you got the right packages in for every build, and it might still be using because I haven't used this one since I think 2020 earlier. The first version of the LTS 2022. I think it was last time I loaded this, and now I'm into like a third or fourth version of it. And I just updated it, put it into this, so there's good. I probably gotta go to the package manager, and normally that fixes things. But even if I run the hopefully the analysis and that sort of thing, this is running. See, I've got nothing in garbage collector. That's the thing. It shouldn't be. They never have anything garbage collector. Editor loop, profiler, flush counts, flush memory counters, flush memory, and that stuff. It shouldn't be even like. Well, there's nothing for the user interface really in there. So why it's got it like that? But it's running below the video sync, the vertical sync, whatever they call it. But I have been getting garbage collector spikes. I don't know why I'm getting the garbage collector spikes. Rendering is probably where it's going. So all this, none of the lights are baked. None of my lights are baked in any of it. The player loops at 4.4%. Editor loops at 91.6 at that point. And it's got 2 player loops. But how that happened, I have no clue. 1 player. Well, I got 2 player loops. That's what I say. There's probably something going on with the package manager. I got 3 other loops, 2 player loops. That does there's 3 player loops, 3 other loops. There you go. Let's have this player loops at 0. This player loops at 4.4. This player loops at 2.5. I said that's like I said, if my computer, if that's something to do with my computer being compromised, or it might just be like the package manager. Because I didn't update the package manager. I didn't want to get online and try to steal offline because I don't want to have I don't have mm, I mean I have my Wi-Fi card, but Wi-Fi driver's off. I have Wi-Fi driver if I rip the Wi-Fi out of my computer. If I had a desktop, I'd totally pull the chip and put it back in whenever I need to use it. And there's a guy. This guy goes through a couple different modes. But I got him too dark to see right now. This part. Oh, there it goes. I want the kind of dark theme, but like this the that's how I was trying out lighting different lighting scenarios. Then also trying out the trying out pro volumes. See, it's a couple different modes. You get in there, you know, keep ready to going in the melee mode. You got shooting mode and melee mode. And then pause this. Let's see. Go to the scene while it's playing. You get wampa stomping. But I gotta get it's still going off the player's position, not the ragdoll player's position, because it's not the way I got it hooked up. I don't have because the way I'm using the player control, I'm using the actual like player control module, not like the one that they got character control. I'm using character controller, so you can't use physics on the character controller. You can't have a that's the limitation to it. You can't use rigid body on character controller. It kind of messes things up. And like there's things you don't know about that. So I got it triggering the ragdoll come on whenever it dies. So it's not the but it's going off of the player's position where he died and not the ragdoll position. But I can still that's just something I just gotta tell it to do. Let it update the nav mesh the AI to go to this position and not the player death position. They'll keep on kicking the ragdoll thing around. But I just love the look of stuff. Like it's a dumb one. I do this in ZBrush. And like it's coming making have it I just thought it was wicked. And I went with that one was kept going with the design, especially with the characters. I think I might got two. That's probably something I didn't really realize. I probably got two meshes up there. Let's see, the topology need to bring the topology to the no, it's one mesh. I gotta bring the topology down more on it. But like especially this one. I gotta retopologize. That's the it's not really being lazy on my part. It's the part that like I'm trying to like I really was doing this like trying to get some sort of team effort. Like I really ain't playing around with I actually do this stuff pretty good. I don't know if that's like some lighting artifact. I probably gotta fix the lighting a little bit. I think it's going into the light and that some of it's how the shadows on the lights are set up. Like I don't got this whole hard. Like I said, this is pretty much a whole test. I was testing HDRP and the lighting, and then I was like, man, this is good enough to like put out there as a teaser, and not have a you know show kind of a showpiece of what I do. not really. There we go. But I have, like I said, I have a whole concept based on it. The Ravager. That's actually gonna mess them up for that. But yeah, like I said, you can make it unreal. You can make this games and Unity look just just the same as it's just all about lighting and what your texture work. So I mean, when it comes to the game engine, and then the functionality, it's all pretty much on. This is then like I got without the big guy in here. Like I said, I already pre-apologized to put these guys. I don't know if I got the updated model in here yet. So that's what the topology looks like. I gotta fix the shoes. I haven't just learned on the shoes yet. Well, I got as I keep on coming up, like I gotta come up with some smaller game to keep them there. Figure out how to have some money come in, and even this topology is kind of rough, but it's not the it's functional. It's way better than way better than it was when I first started putting it. I had millions of polygons, but like I got how many of these guys? 18 of them. There's 18 of these guys, 19, 20, and then 21 of the big guy. So that's 20, 21 different animated characters going, and it's getting it. I'm running above 30 frames per second, and I got real time lights on it right now at the moment, and the code is real sloppy. And then I have a lot of stuff up. Like I said, I do a lot of stuff, and then when I get in the code, I put the stuff in the start a lot just because you got the start method and the update method, and you get it's better to test stuff out and go back and say, all right, I can put this in awake, put all that stuff in awake, put this in start, you or is it the iron new? Because like you can have an iron numerator start too. So depending on what you want to do or what you're trying to pull off, whatever type of functionality you're trying to give, or what performance wise, in whatever hierarchies or whatever however you got stuff set up. So like going back and going through this, and then they have this play. The sound is what building the sounds up. It's a lot of work. And then like I almost wait. I'm really disappointed that like I didn't go and grab this. There's been bundles of free sounds. So I didn't go get them. I can make my own sounds, but there's bundles with free sounds in there. So it's a lot of when you start building, it's like, am I building it too big? Am I making something too big for me right now? Not really. Can I handle with like with sound and everything else? It's not too big, and I can do it, but it's also refinement and making money now. So when I got to this point, I'm like, all right, but how long really realistically with this concept, how long it's going to take? So I go and build another concept a little bit smaller because this is obviously on like a grand scale. It's like, the boss is almost 100 times the player character and almost 100 times the other enemies. So I'm not trying to make it some chump walkthrough game. I got I already got doors and everything set up. There's a roundabout door in that doorway. A lot of stuff's already set up. But it's like how much longer? And I was like, this is gonna be one of the ambition like titles that I really want to like. So when it started up another idea that would take a little bit shorter amount of time, and I got with that, and I was like, you know what? I needed something a little bit smaller, so I went to a phone game, and I built the phone game. The phone, like I said, the phone game is like 2 days away, 3 days away, and it's not 3 days away crunching, and a week away taking my time, but not saying that I'm gonna make some money off of it. But like phone games, if it's attractive enough, you know, and you put it, and you market it right, and the free marketing way market it out there. Then you do ads. You can make money off of it. You can pull money off that without having to be on Steam or anything. So it's it's all about making. Am I confident enough? Like I think I can build a solid art scheme I have. So like I'm confident in my art. I'm confident in you know pulling the code being functional for it. So it's a matter of just it's a matter of just doing it. And like it's just a fact of like I'm at one of those points in my life also like it's not like like it's me and like it's really me against the world and like I don't have it's not a thing where like I'm a person that breaks down or breaks or gives up. I'm not a give up person, but it's called time. It's nobody's friend. So like knowing time is nobody's friend is the thing that like I sit there in the back of my head. It's not that I did anything wrong to be afraid of it, but it's the fact that like there's been just some things and like it really didn't when it comes down to them, it's the mm, it's just like I said, I've had a crazy type of life, and I've always been rushing. I've always been doing push myself way different, all different directions. So I'm trying to like get it to where I'm totally stable and not having to keep on fall backwards. So that's why I took a risk on the video game thing because I need a big money thing because the position that I've been forced into kind of like I mean not really by choice like there's always somebody trying to push me some direction. So it's not a thing to like I work hard in every different direction I go, and I've done that. And like there's been a lot of confusion and things go on. That like it's not like I said, and then they like try to say like I should be this should be this is a team product. This is something that like this right here definitely screams team. Should be like if I had a team, or like even if I had like two other people working with me that I knew, this would be going off like, and it definitely been an exciting project. This looks like an exciting project. There's nothing that, and it's the baseline of it already done. So like that's all the things that don't make sense to me. So like all right, I am totally 100. So why is there not so I don't go in question. I just keep on working and going at it. So, but like I said, it's all about pretty much the art. I got it. Like I said, sound, and this is one of them ambitious projects I need to sit down and have money to do. Like I need to sit down because like it's not something you know. It was pretty quick. I put it together pretty quick. But like I said, it's never the game engine. It's the person, the people behind the games that are making the games. They're really, it's really the issue, especially if you got a game engine. Like if I'm one person, if I pull this off by myself, no AI whatsoever, no AI whatsoever. ZBrush, Blender, Krita, and what you call it, Sketchbook Pro, a Unity. Like, and I pulled this off. This it's not with no AI. It's not like that, that much. It's not that extravagant, like level wise. It just needs to be populated, but it's not part of the way there. And it's in most parts to give up any of the story. And then when it comes to story, like I said, it's still gonna be mostly about gameplay. It's not about the story. It's about gameplay. The story's still real simple, and it's not nothing where you know to make anybody mad or take anybody else's ideas. Because I'm still focusing on gameplay. That's the main focus of it. Visuals and gameplay. Visuals and gameplay. Give it visuals and gameplay. Make sure the visuals are right. Make sure the gameplay is right. Make sure it functions right. And like I said, you can't blame the game engine at the end. You can only blame yourself. Pretty much like with anything else in life. Like and like I said, all this is real time wipes and running in real time. I'm getting them both 30 in the editor, getting, not the big set piece, which I had that, like, it was up at, 68 frames per second, 67 frames per second. And then going into the big throne room, pretty much, that's the area I was going to build up next in this hallway, leading to, like, I guess, the throne room. It's at 35, 40 frames per second right now, 35, 40, depth 429. It's hovering at 39, 42, 34 up here in the corner. Like I said, I don't got collision set up on them, but it's not that something that's too hard for it. This, I think I'm a month away from playable. This being a playable demo, a month away. The other game I showed previous the other day, with that setup like that, I can turn that into like a playable demo just to show off to have have a test like test going by controls and having that's 2 days away, which is the next step, which like I really have that set up with the Mr. Plumber cracks really for having have somebody test the controls, have people go out and test, put it out there for people to play and test the goals and give get feedback and then build consumer confidence in the product, help build consumer confidence in my product. So like, I mean, there's a whole bunch of different ways of hitting it, and that's also the reason why I'm doing these videos, not to like sit here and be bragging or do anything like that. Consumer confidence. Hopefully, get other people to work with. I've done this on my own dime, or I borrow money from my dad, pretty much for food and stuff, and and the cost of living. There's been nobody funding me. I don't get any funding from anybody. I do this all, on my own, and I work alone. So like, I got it. I think I get a decent lineup, and then even with like, I mean, with Unreal, I'd be done faster. And I'm not saying that Unreal's better, but I'm not a coder. I taught myself code. And so when you go back and you do all the troubleshooting and coding yourself, and versus Unreal, where everything's already set up for you, pretty much hierarchy wise, all I got to use the blueprints. I would already, like I said, I already showed a video last time. But I would already be clear done in the water with with a game. But it's the fact that like I don't want to be. I want to. I just want to have the you know with doing it in C# and coding. It's a little bit more challenging, so it gets a little bit more respect than doing it with blueprints to me. Because I wouldn't be using C++. I don't know C++. So that's the only reason why I really want to push to get my first game out in Unity, and then go and hit and then figure out the fastest way to get the next one out while having the quality, while trying to bring in some revenue off the first game, and then keep it going, keep a solid flow going of but not as stressed out with that. Not stressed out, but like added stress of like I need to get that first game out, and like I need to have you know this like this and this like this, or you know, and then the first game is going to help build more consumer confidence, and it should have. I think I got a good lineup of games, a variety of characters and different variety of levels. But then also, I thought there's other ways to market video games, and there's other ways to use interactive media. So, like, I'm always thinking that I got another way to do it. So I can pull something off real quick that's pretty flashy and put it out there. But I gotta hurry up, and I've been in hurry up mode. But it's not it's the fact that like I know I need to not waste time. I need to make sure the time that I'm using works and that I'm not wasting it because I don't have this time. It's not time that was like I'm lucky to have, and I know this. So like it's not like I did anything wrong. It's the fact that like with no income coming in, and you're like I'm living a life, got to be pulling some sort of income, and it ain't got time for games. And this can't be no game. This can't be sitting there playing around. And it's not. I'm not sitting here playing around. When you look at the products that I'm coming up with, that's a few more things to populate this area, and I'll be good. But I have tons more models. I mean, if they go into the read that I can use across the board, but it's just having come up with that independent thing for make sure every all the games don't look the same. They have their own unique art vision. Their whole art scheme that they all have their own individual look. And I think I've done that. I think I've pretty much done that. Cause you put in the next game, it looks different from this game. Put in the next game, looks different from it. It looks different from these two games. Put in the game from Unreal, it looks like a totally different game from my other first person shooter that I got in Unity. And then I got another one, and it looks that's in Unreal 5. That's looks totally different from the game I had in Unreal 4. So it's but it's all about repurposing models, having variations of different models, and then textures and building unique models for each. Having a surplus of models, the multi-purpose models, and then building unique models for each and every game. And I have that. I have unique models for each and every game, and I got surplus models of models. But it's going when you got to go to I got an alien concept game, and you're in the alien world. So I got a couple of them. So I gotta make sure that the concept looks strange. This is in the human world. So with it being in the human world, with those humans, then I got a lot of when it comes to looks, it can be stuff that average, nothing, I just got to update to kind of make it more technological looking, like with these tanks, this really just that's the reason why I built these things here to get with that update type look with the technology and the tanks and everything. So that's what I'm saying when it comes to unique models strictly for the game, and then having you know other models that can use multi-purpose all the way around. It's like you can use barrels in every game to switch the textures off. Stuff like that. You can use pipes in every game to switch the textures off. If there's humans, there's pipes, there's piping and plumbing. There's wires and all that stuff. When it comes to aliens, it's like you got to come up with that. You got to come up with some sort of their technology, and it's got to be different from our technology, and you got a whole bunch of thought behind that. And that's why sometimes I abandon. I didn't abandon. I was like, I gotta stop this because it's gonna take too long because the world's too, you know, out there. It's not but this keeps it, within the world, the realm of our technology. Just there's something else going on, So it's not so what the heck is that? You know, that's not human. Yeah, it's not human. There's no humans here, but it's still, you know, It's in the human world. It's in the living world. So it still can have, I'm not building too far off of my imagination on it. So it's just coming up with like all the models, and now it's just kind of putting it together, coming with all the models. I already got even when I went to the next game or I did another a different type of game, or I went to the phone game. All of the systems I put together could still be used also. Like I can pull a script in here from my phone game because I finally fully tooled my polling system, find the polling system to where it's a standalone polling system. You tell it what class or object to pull, and it will pull that object. So versus the polling system I don't have in this one yet, versus the polling system I have on the game I showed in the prior video. So there's always something getting better with it, and it's all mine. It's all my code. It's not something I looked up. It's not AI. Like I mean, I looked up stuff to like make sure I was doing it right. And I looked up stuff to see how everyone else is handling it, and this is still different. And it's different from the polling system that Unity has built in. Like there's a polling class that they got built in, but I made my own polling class, and it's simplified and less. You have to use less information, and it pulls the objects, and so that's so I have a good object pulling system. Everything else, even though I'm building different games, all the scripts and stuff can be multi-purposed and used and brought in because I'm building them as separate systems. And that's the thing that like the standalone systems, to where it's functional, and I don't got to worry about issues. I tested it on the phone. I played it on the phone, and it works. And it works, real good on the phone. It's not like an iPhone or anything. It's not like some fancy phone. It's from they got an Icon 6. It's a cricket phone. So or yeah. So like it's not like it's not like it's not even my main phone. It's just like some phone that don't even use no more. So it's not like it's a you know just to test stuff out on and not be able to and be able to use it. You know, versus the Samsung phone I got on my line, but like that that phone makes it. It's not real fancy, so I can test it out, and I think I can get borderline, functionality where it functions on there, where like I know any average consumer can download it and it's gonna play no matter what phone they play. So that's the reason why I use it. So, but it's like I said, nothing talking about it, but like yeah, with all this stuff, and I got my own life issues. I can't work myself or overwork my mind to where which I'm not going to do because I don't do that stuff. I'm not. There's something we talk about weak-minded people. I am not weak-minded, so I don't believe in give up unless it's a woman. Woman, I'll give up on because you got women to do what they want to do. I ain't gonna sit there and stalk them and force them or anything like that. You know, if they woman loves you should not be there, point blank. But me personally, like otherwise, I don't know give up. There's not a thing that where it says you're supposed to give up. So I don't believe in giving up. There's no thing as such thing as give up or no, unless it's a woman or other people's rights. You got to give up. There's But otherwise, if it's something that like I could do and I do it, I've been doing it for my whole. I'm doing it. I'm getting it done. I'm getting it done. I'm getting it done. But thanks for checking out. Like I said, it's like go back. Like I said, and this is Unity, and I think it's pretty good looking for a Unity game. Versus you want to say the looks versus Unreal. Or say Unreal's which one's better than the other or not. I don't. It's all on how you use it. It's all on how you use the game engine. It's all on how what you put in the time and the work you put into the time work you put in your models, time and work you put in your textures, time and work you put in your materials. That's you see a seam right here, but like it's not the I can fix that. Like it's I was going to go and put it back in the blender and use the smudge brush, like and the texture thing. So like this, and even right up here, anything like that. Like so, you see seams, but that's quickly implemented. I was like, get the texture. It looks cool. It kind of look cool. That look cool. That looks cool. Get that into her. Let's try to shoot a video game. See how it looks. Let's get a material set up and get a look going in the video game. And then in the engine, see how it looks. It look cool. It looks cool. You know, so we got because like really when I first, like I said, when I first I go in and I put it so I can get all locomotion and everything done first. There's always issues like, and then even with this, another tip before I turn this off. There's you have to look at this. These guys, I got to do some things on these guys because of the fact that like that's another reason why with the going back the I might have fixed it, I might not have fixed it. See that the rotation of -89, which that's not bad, but you wanted to on these rotations right here on the armature, and then well, I mean it works because they're both for -89. So like these rotations have to match. If you know what I'm saying, this rotation has to match there. By the time with the import, you'll know it because if it will still be, it'll be looking like this, where it's laying down, but it's actually fine. But like even this is off with root motion, so it has to really be at 0, 0, 0. You want this at 0, 0, 0 on your armature. You want the mesh at 0, 0, 0, and then you can take this and be sitting up like this. I do believe facing the V, because otherwise you won't have your Y in motion. You'll have it going down the x the z axis like it's supposed to. Like your forward would be your z, but the y is flipped upside down, or the y is going the wrong way. And like it's if you use a root motion, that thing goes into like later probably glitches. If you don't have the right rotations where it goes to play it. You never know. But with the rotations being wrong, like it's like going from Blender, you can there's a way the exporter from Blender. If you don't export it with the rotations right, you don't have your bones right. I know the bone axis is right, but you want this at 0, 0, 0. Sometimes I don't check it right, and like I said, like I want to hurry up, get it in, hurry up and get it into the game engine to hurry up and set up locomotion. As long as my z axis is right, I worry about the y axis later. I rigged it to be able to jump by using uh, the navigation, the nav mesh. Presumably, otherwise, I'm gonna be able to jump. There's no Y information. If we go to, they got more animations. And say I got something going with the foot there, but it should be. And normally I put these animations. I made all the animations, and then let's say oh well, I guess it actually was the right. Well, maybe I did get why. Let's see when that's wrong because the Y is not there. I got the Z, X, Y, and Z. So it's going 2.8 meters on it's moving 2.8 meters. And you see how that red arrow is going right, or it shouldn't be going right. It should be going up. And so that's that have when you don't have you don't have the rotation right. You don't have this is 0, 0, 0 on your armature, and also have it at you want to check both of them, the armature and the mesh. All right, 0, 0, 0. You're getting the wrong root information. So it has the wrong root information, which it might, you know, what it's going to do, really technically, it could go, instead of jumping, it could go sideways. but it might be just because of the fact of how I have and then if you don't recognize it, what you're doing, you're modeling something in Blender or you're setting the rotations. There's a trick with the bone axes, like in the root bone, they're like transfers in and goes to the other video. Like even with Unity, you gotta check it and make sure that like you got your root bone set up right. And when you export it out of Blender, that you got you know you you got everything set up on the FBX right to where it comes in at 000 on the mesh and 000 on the armature. Because otherwise, if you don't do that, you got like I said, that's this jump attack, and it's really see how the one on the X positive was going to X positive, not Y positive. It's going to X positive. It's going Z positive and then Y positive and X positive. It's not going Z positive or Y positive, like which should be going Z positive and Y positive. So really, it's going to run to the right and run back, but it's going to do this in the process. That whole little, and I got them going in root motion. So like it's not like I said, that's where it goes. You're gonna have glitches in a video game, and like that's the, but that's doing it if you know that's animating and stuff. That's all the stuff that goes in, and people want to say, like I said, they want to say it's the game engine or whatever. It's not. You gotta go and check things back out. It's not the game engine. Like some people don't think you can jump. I think some people don't think you can jump using Unity, which you can. It's you gotta make sure that your rotations are right when you export. When you export from Blender, especially if you export. Well, I don't know about Maya. Maya, I didn't think I had that issue. Not saying there's anything different between Maya. There is something different between Maya, like the FBX exporter and Maya is different than the FBX exporter in Blender. And then you still have those settings to have them set right for it to have the root motion come out right. Then the boning system is not as manual in Maya as it is in Blender because there's so many different things you can do with the there's every different option in the world that you do with the boning system. Not that I say you can't do that in Maya like that, but it's way more custom in Blender. So give me that customized, you know, giving you that much, that room, that much wiggle room to do what you want with it makes for things like that where there's extra options on your, we got to make sure your options are right when your FBX is exported. But I said, like, as long as I got it in, I got the code, I got these moving like this. All I got to do is go back in the Blender and I probably don't even have to go back in the, probably, I just have to re-export them. I had to check my export settings and export the settings so I get my Y information on, because there'll be, see what's the, yeah, see the X is going left, and that's right, because it's the arrow where the X is going left. What's the jump? Again. Jump attack one. Yeah. there's no Y information in there. But that could cause glitches down the line. Yeah, and sometimes that happens with things where like you do why is it glitch like that? Why the rotation? Why the dude's legs flipped up backwards face like you'll see like soccer game or football game where you see somebody they're playing and the legs are glitched up. Or like you got something funky, they turn around, they're running the wrong direction because the bones have the wrong. They're going programmed one way, but like their axes are facing the wrong way. But I know I took over. I know I took way too much time what I want to do on this one. So yeah, thanks for checking out the work. Like I said, any questions? Anybody have any questions or answers for me? They want to check things out. If actually I did something, uh, or they need to help troubleshooting something. Really, you can give me a. I got a. There should be a. Check the email at the bottom in the description, and I'll reply. Like I said, if they're replying to Reddit, like send me an email and I'll send a reply on. You have to go check my Reddit to I'll say give me a user, give me a name to say, then I've really figured out no way, some really solid way. I really want phone to phone voice contact, but like it's not something like I don't want my phone blowing up, and then I don't think you never know. People don't want to, they're like, well, look at the like. I don't know if he ain't finished no game, he ain't got no game out. And what he got, he's nothing finished, and like he's showing, but like I've done plenty of work and plenty of I've gone through and had way too many issues. Like not saying that like they were my own issues. They weren't issues from the engine. They're my own issues that I troubleshoot. And like they can happen the same thing issues I run into, everybody else gonna run into the same thing at some point. Or they might get stuck on something. Anything animation wise or like, there's a lot of things that like I've gone through and tested out features to know, you know, if I had any trouble, why I had trouble doing it, and then how I fixed it, and then how not to repeat the problem again. But that's the main one of the main things is the rotations and like you want to make sure that this comes that rotation information because if it don't come in, you have a jump on the character and don't come in here, or if it don't like you got to check if it uses root motion, you know that X is left and right, Y is up and down, Z is forward, and this is like Unreal is 4 seconds forward. But then it also has, as you gotta look at the model and look at the bones rotation Unreal. But you gotta, if you don't have, in here, if your model's going left and right, then you gotta watch this red arrow and watch this blue arrow. And like, I think there should be a yellow arrow because the blue is going down the Z, showing the Z motion. Or red, like, I don't know how it works, but this always, if there's any hip movement, any root movement, this is going to reflect the root movement. Like your root movement's going to be reflected on by that arrow. You'll see your root movement. You'll see it either go down. You're like, why is it going down? It's not supposed to be going down. And like, unless the character's going down. This arrow should follow the character, go where the character's going. If it's not going the same direction as the character, then there's something wrong. You gotta go check your rotations and go and check the import on the armature and on the model. And it's only working because both of those match, but it's wrong. But it should be 000 and 000. But thanks for checking like checking out the show. I think this might be too long. I might cut it. I don't know if this video is gonna go up or not. If it does go up, if it does go up, thanks for checking out the show.